Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. We're in the final match of the round of 8, even though I think it might say round 2 at this stage. Maybe I'll update that, maybe I won't. We'll see. I'll keep you guys on your toes for the next game. Midnight Blue, Protoss, upper right hand corner is hard to see, but it's Neoko. Bottom right hand corner, we got Ggnore starting as the red Terran. The Terran have been kind of spicy this season, both in Gosu and Hasuleauge. Decided to combine those two words into Gasu. Rather than, anyway, wonder if that actually is a thing. This is going to be on Radeon, by the way. So a larger macro-oriented map. I do think this might favor Ggnore, given how he's played previously. He's had some pretty solid troop movement. We've seen Terran, I feel like this is, I'm not going to say, oh, this is a solved map for Terran, but I feel like Terran have done a really good job of getting the supply depots down here, covering that third, holding this area, and then sometimes slowly making their way out and holding this 6 o'clock base. Or other times making sure a lot of vultures are active in the midfield and making sure Protoss has trouble. This is one of those maps that makes me feel like it was built to punish Protoss in more modern TVP because it really lends to a lot of Terran's strengths. Wonder what the ASL percentage is on it actually. I'll have to double check. But effectively, yeah, this is very well. This is an easy to defend slope. It's also easy to attack from the other angle for Terran. You get the siege tanks along and there, but otherwise, you just got a lot of space for vultures to run around in between, and not a lot of space to really blockade them off. If you can get some dragoons here and some dragoons and a pylon wall here, it becomes a little bit easier to at least secure 3 bases. But if you're going for 4, it just feels like it's a vulture parade marching out there. Anyway, we'll see how it plays out, but it just, I don't know, that's been my sense of the map thus far. Works well for Terran, and I haven't seen Protoss have a lot of solutions. I'm trying to think how many wins I've seen Protoss. I should keep tally of that sort of thing for my own statistics in Hasuleauge. Wouldn't that be cool if I had the time and energy to make that happen? I could get on Tableau or whatever, or some program. You know what? We're going to go the full program my own fancy graphics thing and some JavaScript library like D3, integrate it into OBS and just turn it into, yeah, do it all myself with all that free energy and time I got. We are seeing a factory at the 232 mark. Pretty decent timing there from Ggnore. A Marine hanging out on the front. Still hasn't gotten a scout into his opposition's base as of yet. Looks like Neoko gonna go 2 pylon Dragoon. No 3rd pylon down as of yet. And Ggnore should be able to wander up and get good eyes on what's going on. Is that probe going to block? It thought about it, but that's not what it was. It looks like it's going to be just 1 gate into Nexus here, by the way, rather than 3rd pylon overall. Probe also getting swatted bottom left by just 2 Marines. 3rd Marine is out. And you know, this is kind of an interesting situation where if this Nexus gets scouted, we're going to have another game where I think the Dryer with its fun little song is going to end up on this again. I should mark those commentaries as well and keep statistics on that. The Dryer build time. But Ggnore not, I think he's got a no, but he hasn't confirmed that the Nexus is there. But there are opportunities with factory play and a slew of Marines and pushing out to go ahead and make that happen. It looks like he's going to go ahead and just grab his command center himself. But this is a pretty strong economic opener here from Neoko. Ggnore not that far behind, but I will give Neoko a slight edge depending, but again, I feel like this map very, very good for Terran, so we'll see how it plays out overall. Machine Shop is to follow, and that Vulture rapidly kind of checking the mid area. Is it going to poke is the next question. It can go ahead and maybe check up there given this positioning. He doesn't know where that Dragoon is, needs to turn around to, oh no, turn around. Okay, he's still going to go in. Wow. I don't like that from Ggnore. I think he was hoping that ramp was open, and in fact was not. That is 3 lost mines, is what that is. And that's going to leave him with very little pressure on the follow-up, because he went siege tank, just in case. I think he misread the build opener here. I think he thought that it was something else, a little bit more Dragoon heavy, I'm not sure. Anyway, decent transfer here from Neoko. He's actually even on workers. Barracks floating ominously overhead, hasn't plopped down yet. We do see a second factory in place. And Mines researching. Do we have another Vulture? Another Vulture is in fact queued up. A very fast armory. from Ggnore. Okay, is he gonna try to play this upgrade Terran? Transferring troops to the natural expansion. This will be interesting to see. Yeah, going for either this is going to be a very fast 5 factory +1 at his opponent, or potentially what we could see is upgrade Terran off this. Another Vulture gonna wander out. Let's see if he checks that 12 o'clock or the 3 o'clock and gets mines in place. In the meantime, Neoko dropping a second gateway. He's already got the robotics and the observatory warping in. Did he get range? I think he did get range. Yeah, Ggnore playing... So he's going Goliath right here. Yeah, I think this is a... he's going to go for upgrade Terran, recognizing that he... So block that out. Let's see if he goes up to the 12 o'clock and does the same. A lot of Protoss have stomped on this, going usually 3 base. So dropping a 3rd base somewhere around the 7-minute mark, 637. Once they feel comfortable enough with observers, etc., to go ahead and clear these bases out. And then from there, going up to additional... I take it back. Okay, is it... Well, no. Yeah, turrets. Yeah, I think this is going to be upgrade Terran off a very light factory count here to start. Where Terran have gotten punished with this, though, is the inability to, in the mid-game, aggress or threaten Protoss. So as a result, sometimes they'll go up to 3, sometimes 4 bases. Oh, leaving a little bit early there, Neoko. Okay, once he wanders up, should be able to recognize he can't drop a Nexus. Guess he's got another observer out in the field, but yeah, just 1 Vulture here. Right this second. He doesn't have any... Didn't even attempt to move the observer across to get a look at the factory count. Siege Tech just upgrading, by the way. Yeah, this is upgrade Terran. Very old school. Looks like the Vulture was able to sneak into that 12 o'clock and pick off that probe, which is going to delay that 3rd a decent amount of time, which is significant, because the more time you can delay, the better position you're in, but particularly with upgrade Terran. Unfortunately, you really, really, really need to delay that 3rd base. So even if he goes, although Neoko does need to get that 3rd base up fairly quickly here. Okay, he does have that probe making its way that direction. Observer is going to see that it's just 2 factories. He isn't going to wander in further, though, to get to confirm the starport. The starport's really the tell here. Yeah, +1 weapon's about to finish. 3rd factory dropping, 2nd machine shop. I almost wonder if this is for show for Ggnore. It's like your observer's slightly out of position. Yeah, sure, I got 5 factories and a machine shop. Okay, he's going to poke down, does see the starport, and wanders in and should see that armory with +1 finishing as well. So 12 o'clock base building. Do we have a gateway flood behind this now for Neoko to go up to 9 gateways? Usually the 3 base 9 gateway does very, very well against this, because you just have so many troops you can crush what Terran's throwing out despite the upgrade differential. But because this is Radion, I do believe that this 3rd, because that 3rd's easier to hold with fewer troops, what Neoko will need to do is he'll need to be in position earlier to aggress and push back the potential Terran expansion. And I wouldn't be shocked if Ggnore builds the command center up on the high ground here. Yeah, there's the 2nd armory, by the way. Old school. But yeah, as soon as he sees this out, he needs to actually go now. So he's transferring troops to the 12 o'clock. He needs to draw everything he's got and start poking on this corner to make sure that Ggnore isn't able to just drop some supply depots here and get a quick 3 bases completely uncontested. Or he needs to immediately go to, rather than going for the gateway flood, looks like going for the gateway flood in the space of this. Going for, okay, what is this, 7? Kind of halvesies. Yeah, he needs to halt this, is what he needs to halt, and make it a little bit more challenging to hold this mid-ground. But Ggnore, I actually kind of like the decision overall. Another observer getting picked off someplace, by the way, missed location. But with 2 supply depots and a siege tank or 2 up here now, that's 3 bases, and it's going to be held. Neoko has spotted. Okay, rather than going for this 3 o'clock, going to go for a Nexus top left. Is he going to go for 2 Nexuses up here? Zealot dropped. Okay, that's another way to halt this. So drop the Zealot. Low field is, unfortunately, this Reaver not going to be able to get a lot accomplished here, and with this Goliath should be able to push that shuttle back. So I think he was hoping to create more of a delay than that. An SCV is going to be able to make its way up, by the way, and confirm that 4th Nexus. Not that it matters as much at this stage, because we're basically, with that 4th spotted, we're basically in a macro foot race. Command center floating. Caught it a little bit too late. Floating down here. A macro foot race, I will say, I think Ggnore has the advantage right this second. In the space of this. +2 weapons, +1 armor going to be completed in not too long. We can see another 2 factories at least dropped in the space of this, but Ggnore, if he wants to, could surge all the way up to 8 or 9 now that he's got this 3rd, but he does need to land that command center for it to count. I think he missed that. That's cool. We saw a little bit of the glow. Look, we're seeing some of the glow underneath. Those are bright and shiny minerals. 5 bases from Neoko. The problem with 5 base this early is first of all, your probe count isn't that high to make that happen. One thing you can do is draw your probes off your main and move them to the top left to mine this area out more. He can go refugee style. Maybe he's going to just surge that worker count up to 70 as quickly as possible. I don't know how this is going to work out. More often than not, when I see Protoss go 5 bases quickly like this, it ends up being too many workers, not enough army, or not enough, or they get this established and up and running, and Terran's already at their natural expansion. They don't have enough troops. Right here, though, I'll say off the just 7-gate macro, we got a 50 supply lead against Ggnore, which is something, but +2 weapons and a lot of siege tanks. This is standard upgrade Terran stuff, though. And this is a difficult gap to breach, and we have a good amount of mines right there in the meantime. Let's see if we get some refugee gateways up here top left as well. That will really be kind of the chef's kiss. And Neoko going gateway man into the late game to counter this. In the meantime, we are sticking at, looks like a final of 9 overall factories. Ggnore putting that in position as he's aggressing out here. Ggnore, now that he's got the supply lead, should... I don't think he recognizes where he's at. I don't think he recognizes this as upgrade Terran. Interestingly enough. Yeah, needs to have his units in position to kind of crash against this. I think he still wants to try to establish... So he's got that mining. No mining top left. He is going for the emergency gateways top left. Neoko looking for... Yeah, just losing some units along that edge, which is narrowing that supply gap. Ggnore cutting straight across the map. Vultures are getting pushed away. He's got some High Templar to the right, so drawing, being very, I think Neoko's being overly patient with this, but he is letting Ggnore kind of build a losing situation for himself, where now all these siege tanks are kind of stranded in the center, and they can be assaulted from 2 directions, but also potentially cut off from reinforcements. And with 5 bases, Neoko doesn't have to be overly aggressive here to save this 12 o'clock. The units drawing from 2 locations, High Templar coming a little bit too early. 1 side storm drop, a few vultures making their way across. I think Neoko might have spread that a little bit too far. Reaver dropping from the high ground, but he's still going to clean this up pretty well. And as I say that, reinforcements are making it here. And unfortunately, Neoko not keeping up with his macro. Yeah, more reinforcements streaming across, so I think he's got some wiggle room, keep in mind, with the gateways and whatever not top left. Once you see, let's see if we see some Dark Templar. The 12 o'clock base is likely gone, but it's still 4 bases on the map. He just needs to whittle down these siege tanks. One way or another. He's got a prime drop here. Okay, the Zealot going. Another Zealot from off position. Let's see the High Templar and some Storm. Come on, Storm! Storm! Okay, they're able to get some side Storm, but mostly just on the Vultures. Unfortunately. Just hanging out with that shuttle overhead to go ahead and get additional spotting. Yeah, more units than usual. The upgrades have paused, by the way, from Ggnore. He's got an SCV waiting here at the 6 o'clock to go ahead and grab that. Now that the 12 is gone, it looks like he's going to make his way top left briefly. And Neoko, yeah, just miscuing. It looks like he's got some troops out that also aren't rallied towards the front. And he really GG Gnore's position has just been overwhelming for him, it looks like right this second. Keep in mind the upgrades really chew through these units quite rapidly, and this oftentimes you had an arbiter or a lot of shuttles to try to deal with this. A shuttle with the High Templar making its way bottom right. Let's see if it gets across that line. We have a bit of a scuffle here, so that shuttle pausing. The Vulture's able to get on top of the gateways. So as units are constructing, they're going to die. We do have the drop. Psystorm makes it off and kills a handful of SCVs. Probes were not drawn off the main, by the way. So, which hurts, because that means it'll be more challenging once it comes down to the 2-base scenario here for Neoko. And Ggnore still has this middle line. All the probes dying top left. Cannon is not long for life. So this is going to get wiped out. The main's going to get wiped out. This is going to no longer be mining for him, and Neoko will be down to 1 base. Looks like he's going for a counterattack now. We still have some mines and reinforcements to deal with a lot of this, and this is not the best crash point across that small bridge. Maybe if he hurries, he can assault that third. The 6 o'clock is up for Ggnore, but not saturated. Yeah, tanks just need to siege here and reinforce. And this can quickly turn into a bridge of death. Yeah, it's just an absolute funnel. So even 2 siege tanks and a few mines able to wipe out half that attack force already. Is getting pay dirt though, so he's forcing a liftoff at the 3 o'clock, so that's going to shut down that third. But the upper left-hand corner is gone. That nexus is gone. This composition should quickly get cleaned up. The main is out for Ggnore as well, but he can just cycle back here to the 6 o'clock and start going from there. We'll lose this command center, but it'll still be basically 1 base versus 1 base, and that usually means Terran's ahead. So loses that command center, no big deal. He's also got a lot of army that he can just unsiege and draw back to take care of this, where Neoko really doesn't have that sort of capacity. The worker count surprisingly close overall across these 2 bases, which means that natural expansion, if those workers do make it back to that natural expansion, will be cleaned up fairly quickly. These guys getting absolutely swarmed. SCVs have made it to the 6 o'clock. So Dark Templar, it looks like an observer, just kind of, I was hoping a Dark Templar was making its way to the 6, but I don't think that Neoko even recognizes that. So isolating that, an emergency base trying to be planted here at the 2 o'clock, but that's quickly going to be wiped out, and Neoko now out of options. Needs to cancel this to save the resources. 3 probes left, top left. Sees the 6 o'clock. This is going to get chewed up. And then it's GG. At this stage, for quite some time now, it's been Gnore's game to lose. But clearing it out there, I'm a little bit shocked we don't have a GG from Neoko yet. It looks like he's got 1 more army he wants to throw into the grinder. Was hoping he could save that Nexus. The Nexus canceled last second. The rest of this might get a siege tank or 2, but that army not long for life. Does have +2 weapons, +1 armor, which is something, I will say, but when you're at a 40 supply deficit, you're not in a winning scenario. In the meantime, some SCVs making their way bottom left to go ahead and start establishing, putting down roots, if you will, to the bottom left-hand base. Zealots, without even siege, gonna pop all this. That we might have some last-second Psystorm. Might. Okay, we do have a last-second Psystorm or 2. But that is going to be completely insufficient. There's GG. Game 1 goes to Ggnore in a very convincing fashion. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.